allow comments, observations or clarifications on the two petitions for not more than 30 minutes. The Honorable Cheralgei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to support the petition by Senator Sheikh Omar on behalf of Mihango residents, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you look under Article 40 on protection to right to property and under Article 43 on adequate housing, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is very unfortunate that Kenya Power and Lighting Company went ahead with demolitions without proper recourse of the law. And even if they wanted to acquire that part of the property, Mr. Speaker, they should have at least ensured that the people are compensated, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you remember during lockdown and COVID, the Ruai residents that were affected in the middle of lockdown. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I continue to insist that we have a new form of evictees. We used to hear about forest evictees. We used to hear about political evictees. Mr. Speaker, there is new crop of evictees called infrastructural evictees, especially in our cities and our towns, Mr. Speaker, where an entity wakes up in the morning, they demolish the kiosks, they demolish people's houses. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I think the great people of Mihango who lost their houses, Mr. Speaker, somebody must be held accountable, Mr. Speaker, because if they did violate the law, then it is very unfortunate that those people of Mihango residents here in Embakasi East, Mr. Speaker, in Nairobi City continues. Mr. Speaker, second and finally, I think it has reached a point where as a parliament, we must come up with the proper legislative intervention to guide demolitions, Mr. Speaker, be it the kiosks, be it the houses, either for the expansion of road reserves, Mr. Speaker, either for compulsory acquisition. We must have a structural legal framework, Mr. Speaker, because what happens nowadays, somebody rushes to court, they obtain a court order, they talk to the OCS and OCPD, they facilitate some young men here and there, facilitate the police. You are evicted without the proper legal recourse of the law, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I commend Senator Sheikh Omar for bringing this petition before the House. I hope the great people of Mihango. I've had, Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, I've had one of your speaker's panel's member alluding on the floor of the House that there is no money. I don't know whether it is our purview to know whether the Senate or Parliament has money, but that is a story for another day. I hope we can, this since Mihango, Mr. Speaker, is a walking distance, and I know Senator Sifuna, in the last month, we used to see him rushing like a bullet across the streets of Nairobi. He can be able to lead us to Mihango because, you know, he has been running here and there, Mr. Speaker, so that it becomes easy. But I want, Mr. Speaker, my senior youth and my friend Senator Oburu acknowledges there is government in place, and I hope Senator Sifuna is borrowing such Solomonic wisdom from Senator Oburu, who is a very senior citizen in this republic, Mr. Speaker. So with those very, very remarks, I support this petition and hope we shall have a policy and